How's it going, guys? Cody, guys, back again, dropping yet another video. Right, guys, I'm actually using the tablet, right? Story reference my old prison Forest Bank about an attack from a prisoner to a prison officer that took place the back end of last year. As always, guys, this is so much easier, right? I've gone that extra step for you guys again. Like I said, it's money out of my pocket to be able to like buy this so that I can then relay it to you, rather than having to sit at the table, write this story down word for word. It could take 3, 4, 5 pages, and then obviously another story might pop up, and then I would just think I'm not going to sit there and do another, like, write another 5-page thing. So but this is it, so I can just slide it up and down, do you know what I mean? So dead easy, trying to make so I can bring more content to you guys. Right, so the headline reads, and as always, guys, I'll put a link in the description. The headline reads, a violent convict launched ferocious attack on prison officer as he bought him lunch. The officer said he had never been attacked at work before and said he was on complete shock afterwards. You shouldn't really be in complete shock because you're a prison officer and you know what goes on. They become reliant on their panic buttons. A violent convict launched a ferocious and unprovoked attack on a prison officer as he bought lunch to his cell. Dorian Griffiths, age 27, launched himself at the officer, showering him with punches during a vicious attack which started inside his cell at HMP Forest Bank in Salford. Now, it's not HMP. HMP are prisons that are run by Her Majesty's Prison Service. Forest Bank Prison is run by Sodexo Justice Services, so it's not HMP. Prosecutor Nicola Yielden told the Manchester Magistrates Court the prison officer was attacked on the morning of October the 18th last year. The officer was serving lunch to an inmate in their cells when he entered Griffiths' at around 11:15 a.m. The inmate, who was on basic regime, had had his back to the officer as he unlocked the cell door. At that point, Griffiths turned around without any warning, grabbed the officer and started repeatedly punching him, as Miss Yielden told the court. Miss Yielden's obviously works for the Crown Prosecution Service. Miss Yielden said the officer tried to draw Griffiths closer to him so further punches couldn't be inflicted. But the two men fell to the floor and the officer hit his head and was knocked unconscious. Several other prison officers raced to the scene and dragged Griffiths away. The officer was taken to hospital having suffered severe bruising and swelling to his face, having bitten through his tongue during the unprovoked attack. He suffered a rotator cuff injury to his shoulder, which meant he had to wear a sling for more than a week. Speaking after the attack, the officer described the attack as ferocious. He said he felt lucky not to have suffered life-changing injuries. The officer said he had never been attacked at work before and he was in complete shock afterwards. I don't understand why he'd be in complete shock. It comes with the territory. I don't condone attacks, but I understand why they happen at the same time. He said he was left in excruciating pain after the attack, which left his family horrified when they saw the extent of his injuries. The officer was due to attend a job interview in the days following the incident and said his injuries left him worried about attending. In a victim impact statement, he said to have been 50-50 about taking a new job, but the violent attack by Griffiths had made up his mind. So he was obviously thinking about leaving the job. He obviously had another job interview away from the prison, and he was 50-50 whether he was going to go for that interview. But after the attack, he's obviously made up his mind and wanted to leave the job. He said, after the assault, I was sure I was going to leave the prison service. I'm not paid enough to put up with this abuse. The court heard that Griffiths has a lengthy history of violence, including a conviction for affray. He admitted assault occasioning actually bodily harm. Actually bodily harms in Section 39, Section 47, minor. Matthew Wallace, defending Griffiths, said there was no explanation for the attack, which his client doesn't remember. He said Griffiths suffers from schizophrenia, another prisoner with mental health problems. Should he be in prison or should he be in a psychiatric unit? I'll let you decide. Prisons are just cheap alternatives to mental health units. The guy's got schizophrenia, so do you know what I mean? It's crazy. Apparently has a significant record of violence. I didn't read the full thing. And he's currently in a secure unit at Ashworth Hospital. Now, Ashworth Hospital is obviously a high security hospital down in Maghull, Merseyside. And thankfully, it shouldn't have taken this attack from a prisoner to a prison officer for him to be like psychiatrically evaluated and given the help he needs. He'll get more help for his mental health on a one-to-one basis at Ashworth Hospital than he will just being thrown into prison where the nurses and the nurses and the screws are not mentally health trained and mental health services are inadequate. He added, on this particular day, he's waiting for his food to arrive in isolation area. When someone arrived with it, he reacted by showering him with punches. Speaking to the court via video link from Ashworth Hospital, Griffiths added, I want to say I'm sorry for what I did. Magistrate sentenced Griffiths to 6 months in custody and ordered him to pay £200 compensation to the victim after his release. Now, the thing is, right, you hear about the attack, right, and you think, oh, and the way that it's like described by the Crown Prosecution Service, right, trying to make it look worse than it was. It constituted occasioning bodily harm, right? Occasioning actual bodily harm, right? Which again is a minor offence, 6 months in prison, right? Do 3 months, right? So pretty much he's got 12 weeks added to his sentence, but obviously he's in hospital now anyway. He's in Ashworth Hospital. He apologised for what he did. Like I say, he's got schizophrenia, so did he lash out because he wanted to lash out, or was it because he was having a psychotic episode and he's not in charge of his own actions and stuff? Like I say, I don't condone attacks on prison officers, but the more you read the story, this is Griffiths obviously has mental health issues that needed to be addressed, and like I say, they're not going to be addressed in a prison, and prison's the worst place to put someone with mental health problems, and prison starts mental health problems and makes them worse if you've already got them. And unfortunately, we've seen prisoners take their own life, seek suicide as a way out through the mental health. They're trying to swap the psychological pain for physical pain, slashing up, trying to, like, obviously some do it for a cry for help, some are trying to take their own lives instead of attendance. So yeah, it's sad that it took this incident for Griffiths, Dorian Griffiths, to be sent to Ashworth. And like I say, his behaviour, you've got to understand that, like I said, he's got mental health problems, so he lashed out because he might have been having a psychotic episode. He might have just wanted to lash out because he was having a bad day, but like I say, he apologised. Obviously he didn't have to apologise, and like I said, 6 months in custody and ordered him to pay £200 compensation upon his release. On that note, guys, there's Dorian Griffiths. On that note, guys, I'll leave it there. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think about the story. Do you condone his actions because he suffers with mental health? Do you think that it's an excuse? The fact he's got schizophrenia and he's been obviously diagnosed as a schizophrenic and he's been put into Ashworth High Security Hospital. He's gone from a Cat B prison, right, a medium security Cat B prison, to a high security psychiatric unit. Prisoners with mental health problems should not be in prison. The sentencing should be deferred so that a proper psychiatric evaluation can take place. If the person's got a long history of mental health problems, then you shouldn't send them to prison. I've seen prisoners go to prison with mental health problems and they've left prison in a body bag. Sad reality, and God bless anyone that's left prison in a body bag. May they rest in peace. But like I say, you'll get a lot more help in Ashworth Hospital. You'll get that one-on-one care that's needed, and he'll be medically, obviously, he'll be looked after and he'll be medicated or something like that. And it's the best place for him. So he shouldn't have been in prison in the first place, in my opinion. If his crime was that severe that he had to go into custody, they should have put him in a psychiatric unit like Ashworth, so that he could get the help and need that he needs. On that note, guys, I'll leave it there. Like, comment, subscribe. Cody out.